I think that's another point. Remember, you made a claim that how do we know Ishmael was in Arabia, or Arabs are the children of Ishmael, right?
Yeah, no,
I've just shown you.
point.
I've just shown you that, and so this is the second point you have been corrected on. Agreed?
Well, no, I was happy to accept that. As
No,
soon as you made it, it's the
no,
same
no, you
point.
challenged
As soon as
me.
you
When
made
I
that
said the
first
Arabs
point.
were generally speaking,
Yeah.
the period we are addressing, 7th century BC before Christ,
Yeah.
right? The Arabs were the children of, generally speaking, not all Arabs, of course, because they were outskirts, but these Arabs we are talking about in particular, Kedar in particular, and his children, they are in Arabia.
Yeah, but
Ismail,
you know
so
as well as I know
Paran,
that we are
so
talking about
no,
thousands of years between these
wait. Paran is Arabia. This is the point I'm trying to make, highlight, because according to book of Genesis, chapter 21, verses 17 onwards, Ishmael was left in Paran by his father.
Yeah.
And then he had children. He got married in Arabia, he had children, and then 12 sons. Kedar is clearly in Arabia because his children are in Arabia, according to the book of Isaiah, chapter 21:13, a prophecy regarding Arabia. So this is very clear now. This is why we connect Deuteronomy 33:2 to this prophecy in Deuteronomy 18:18. Why? Because that prophecy says, Lord came from Sinai. He rose from Mount Seir, and he shone forth from Mount Paran. 3 locations.
Yeah, but that
Let me finish.
prophecy
Let me finish,
is not
please.
talking
Let me
about-
finish.
That particular prophecy.
Wait,
I'll let
man.
you talk for
Wait.
ages,
I'm
man.
finishing
You just
right
made
now.
another point.
I'm finishing
Okay,
right
you
now.
finish, right.
Okay. It mentions Deuteronomy 33:2 mentions 3 locations. Sinai, Moses. It's connected to Moses. Sire or Sa'ir in the Arabic mountain range in Palestine. Paran is Arabia. So 3 individuals. You do definitely accept Moses from Sinai. You accept
It's not
Jesus.
3 individuals. Let's have a look
3
at the-
locations, I said.
Yeah, 3
locations. 3 locations
These are the
connected.
locations that Israel travelled in the Exodus.
Okay, wait. I am saying these are 3 locations, right?
Yeah.
Distinct locations.
Yeah.
And they are connected to 3 distinct personalities.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
They're the places that Israel travelled through the wilderness.
Okay. So what's happening in Paran? He's
we're
shown
pretty much ready to wrap up before I wrap up
he's shown forth from Paran. Paran is Arabia, and he came with 10,000 saints. So what happened in Paran? What
you've
happened?
given your
How
argument
did
about
Lord
brethren.
how did Lord shone forth from Paran, from Arabia? What happened in Arabia?
Well, because Israel moved through there. Yeah, the people of Israel moved through
So
there.
why
and
is Lord
eventually
shining
into the promised
forth?
land
I mean,
through his people.
when you read the verse,
Because
it says that he rose.
Let's have a look at the verse.
Okay, yeah, look at the verse, please.
What is it? Genesis.
Deuteronomy 33:2. What the verse is saying, there is,
And then once you finish
there
with
is,
brethren, I want to
there
make
is
my
a
point.
gradual elevation of the Lord, so to say, in the
33,
biblical language,
33.
that it starts from Sinai, it goes further up in Seir, and it reaches its peak in Paran. It reaches its peak in Arabia. So what happened in Arabia?
Okay.
Read.
So let's read this passage.
Yes,
right?
please.
This is the blessing that Moses, the man of God, pronounced on the Israelites before his death.
Okay.
He said, "The Lord came from Sinai
You're reading the, okay,
and dawned over them from Seir.
Okay,
He shone forth from Mount Paran.
yes.
He came with myriads of holy ones from the south, from his mountain slopes. Surely it is you who love the people. All the holy ones are in your hand. At your feet they all bow down, etc., etc. The law that Moses gave us, the possession of the assembly of Jacob. He was king over Jeshurun, when the leaders of the people assembled." Do you want to keep going, or is that what
You wanted to read all of that.
Okay.
I'm
So-
concerned about one verse.
So
Okay.
it seems to me here that this is a blessing being pronounced over.
Okay, so
over
in
the
other words,
nation of
it's a
Israel.
prophecy, right?
Well, no, it's not a prophecy.
Okay,
It's actually describing what's just happened.
okay, what happened?
What's happened is that
What happened
God
in Paran?
has delivered, God has brought Israel out of Egypt through all these areas to the place where they are today, at the point of this
The
writing,
Jews
when they're
never,
about to enter
to
into
my
the promised
knowledge,
land.
in the time of Moses, never made it to Arabia. Did you know that?
They crossed through, no.
Sinai.
Look, they crossed through the Red Sea. Right through
Okay,
that area.
where did they go?
And as well, Arabia, you're thinking down the
Moses-
bottom where Mecca is,
Moses-
but Arabia is much higher. It can be all of that.
Okay, so Arabia is
So
higher,
if you
but
look- if you look at Arabia,
is
let's
Mecca
just look at a
Arabia?
map.
Is
Let's-
Mecca Arabia?
Yeah, I know, but this isn't saying Mecca.
It's not saying Mecca.
It's just
no,
saying,
no.
I'll tell you. Kedar,
okay.
you know, these
Okay.
places.
Wait. I will
Let's
prove
have
my.
a look
I'll prove my
where's
point.
Kedar.
Wait. I'll prove my point. Wait. Now you're saying Mecca is not Arabia. I'm saying Paran is Mecca. I'm saying that right now here, standing in front of you.
Have you
I'm
got
saying
evidence for that?
yes. Go Genesis.
You want to go to Genesis now,
chapter
right?
21, verse 17.
And then the last point, because I want to make,
Of
I want to give
course,
my argument as
of
to
course,
who the brethren
of
is.
course. I'm saying Paran is Mecca. The wilderness of Paran, which is being addressed in Deuteronomy 33:2, this verse is directly talking about Mecca. So what happened in Mecca?
Genesis what?
21, chapter 21, verse 17. What's happening to Ishmael? Tell us.
So God heard the boy crying. This is when they were
God
saying-
heard the boy crying. Read loud so that we can all hear
God
you.
heard the boy crying, and
Yes.
the angel of the Lord called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation."
Okay. 21. Sorry, verse 21.
21.
Yeah. No, there.
While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt.
Okay. I want to address the point where it talks about the well of water that emerged as a miracle under his feet. Okay. This is what I want to talk about. It's there in chapter 21.
Wait, sorry.
Okay.
Verse 21.
No,
What are you referring to?
not verse 21. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Then she went from verse 16. Then she went off and sat down about a bow shot away, for she thought, "I cannot watch the boy die." And as she sat there, she began to sob. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar. Okay, where is the discussion on the well? Yes. The God opened her eyes and she saw a well of water. Verse 19.
Yeah.
Same chapter.
Yeah.
Genesis 21, verse 19. Then God opened her eyes and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Why am I mentioning this?
Yeah, why are you mentioning it?
You know the biggest source of water in the Paran Valley, the Valley of Paran, which is usually called Hijaz. You know where it is?
No.
The well of Zamzam in Mecca.
Right, okay.
It hasn't dried. Okay, it hasn't dried to this day.
So that's
okay?
your argument as to why it's brethren.
Yeah. So
Did you want to
all
summarise it? Did you
indicators.
want to summarise
Yeah,
that, and then I'll
absolutely.
give my
The
argument?
well of Zamzam, the water that came out
don't want to give you
for,
all the airtime,
for Ishmael, was in the city of Mecca, is in the city of Mecca to this day. So Paran, where Ishmael was left, specifically where the water came out, was the valley of Paran, was a specific point, and that point is Mecca. So when Lord came from Sinai, rose
There's a lot of
forth
assumptions
from,
there, but
you can call them assumptions. I'm saying if this was about Jesus, the Christians would go to Scandinavia, then to Alaska, then to South America, then to Australia, and then come back to Britain to prove that it was Jesus, like you do with all the prophecies about Jesus, right? You use so many
can I ask you
reasons,
this
so
question?
many indicators to prove that it's Jesus. And we're saying directly these references are there about Arabia, something's happening in Arabia. The book of Isaiah, the entire chapter 42 is talking about something happening in
going on to
Arabia.
another
No,
passage.
we're not going to another one. I'm just mentioning these
You're
are side
talking a lot.
points.
I think it's time for me to say
Yeah,
something. Now,
okay.
I just want to ask
But
you a quick
why do
question.
the
I just want to ask you a quick question.
Christians forget
If
that
you agree-
that approach?
If you agree that the word brethren can mean the fellow Israelites,
And the Arabs.
yeah, but you agree, right?
Yes.
Why would you choose one over the other?
Good, very good
Just a
question.
short answer, summary answer.
A fair question. Why? Because what the prophecy says otherwise fits in to the context of
Like
Muhammad,
what?
for example. For example, let me give you my quickly reason.
quickly, yeah.
So Moses like prophet. Moses like, okay, prophet. Because it's not talking about Moses like person. Moses like
we've
human.
discussed what that means.
Yeah. You asked me, so let me quickly clarify what I mean, yeah? His prophethood would be like Moses. Whatever qualities Moses came with as a prophet, as a messenger, this is what God is talking about, right? Now, no one brought a new law except Muhammad. Even Jesus did not bring a new Torah. Moses came with the Torah, a comprehensive law. Only Muhammad, who came from Arabia, from Paran, brought that comprehensive law. Okay, Muhammad governed as a prophet. So did Moses. He governed his people as a prophet. He implemented law. He punished people. He applied the law of God on his people. Okay, Jesus, no Israelite prophet ever did that after Moses. Okay, I mean there were
Can I
few.
now tell
There
you
were,
why
I mean, of
think-
course.
Can I now share why I think
let me quickly summarize my point. They did. David, Solomon, Joshua. These people did apply the same law, but the law was the Torah. Okay.
Sure.
Muhammad came with a new law, a revision of the law of God, which is foretold again in the book of. The reason
Now
why.
I want to give why I think it's talking about the fellow
Sure,
Israelites.
please do, and I'll let you talk for as long as you want,
Okay,
right?
thank you. So-
In Isaiah 42, this law
We're
is.
gonna go to another one.
No. I'm trying to give you references as to why we believe, because
Yeah,
comprehensively.
but you've made your point. I think that's a simple
Last
point.
point,
and
last
now-
point, last point. The reason why it is not another Israelite prophet like Moses, even Jesus himself is not like Moses in that sense, in the prophetic sense, because the prophecy remained unfulfilled, and Jesus
think
himself,
so, but-
Jesus himself denied being that prophet.
Okay, now my turn.
Yeah.
So
now,
the-
did you understand the last sentence?
Yeah.
Jesus
No, he didn't
denied.
deny being that prophet.
Okay, now that's the point we need to come back to next time.
Yeah.
Next in the next session.
Maybe another debate. The reason why I think it's fellow Israelites, first of all, is because within the context, if you look, that Moses is talking about the authority of Israel. So he talks about kings, and he says in chapter 17 that you shall not put a. I'll just read it to you. When it says in chapter 17, just the chapter before, when you enter the land the Lord your God is giving you and have taken possession of it and settle in it, and you say, let us set a king over us, like all the other nations around us, be sure to appoint over you a king the Lord your God chooses. He must be from among your brethren. Do not place a foreigner over you, one who is not an Israelite. So it seems very close here. The context seems to be talking about.
Where is this you're reading from?
This is chapter 17,
Okay.
verse 14. So it's just the chapter
Okay.
before that it's talking about the
But this is not connected to
the
it.
brethren. The second reason.
There's no
That's-
connection here.
Well, yeah, because if you look at the overall context, it's talking about the authority within
So
Israel.
likewise-
Hang on, I didn't cut you off. I'll
Yeah,
let you do it.
sure.
So you had the kings, you have the Levites is also mentioned in chapter chapter 18, the same chapter. But the other reason why it's talking about brethren is because, as I said earlier in the beginning of the debate, it's in your midst, in your inner parts, the word kereb, which is applied...
Okay, so give me a
hang
prophet
on,
like Moses then,
please.
in their
So-
midst.
So, yeah, in their midst. So when it
Give me a
says
prophet like Moses.
the point that I made at the beginning, which
Yeah.
you seem to have quickly forgotten about, is like Moses is not talking about any old thing like Moses. It's
I
something
agree.
very specific.
Yes.
The specific thing is that it says, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your brethren. You must listen to him, for this is what you ask
Yes.
of the Lord your God at Horeb
Right, okay.
on the day of the assembly, when you said, let us not hear the voice of God, or the Lord our God, nor see this great fire anymore, lest
Okay.
we die. So like Moses is someone who directly speaks to God, directly, and hears his revelation as a general principle, receives that revelation, and then imparts that to the people. Now
Okay.
you said Muhammad at one time spoke to God, but as a general rule, according to the Islamic tradition, Muhammad did not speak directly to God when he received his revelation, whereas this is saying that Moses
Neither
did.
did Moses.
Yes, he did.
He did not.
He did.
As a general rule, Moses was always speaking to God.
Yeah.
I asked you this question earlier.
Yeah.
The,
As a general
the
rule, he
entirety of the
received his
law, the
revelation.
entirety.
He would go up, receive his revelation, and he would share it with the people.
Okay. Now I'll tell you why this prophet is still unfulfilled. Or this
And
prophecy.
Jesus did that. Jesus spoke directly to God.
Okay.
Jesus spoke, he came by the Father.
No, Jesus is
Everything
God.
he said-
Jesus is God.
Yeah, the Trinity.
So,
yeah.
so he's not like Moses.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
How is he
when
like Moses?
Like Moses is not any old thing, because otherwise he would have to be an Israelite.
No, but
Because
Jesus
Moses was an
is
Israelite.
God.
Moses was an Israelite.
Jesus
So
can't
therefore
be-
Muhammad, it can't
Jesus-
be Muhammad because he wasn't
Okay.
an Israelite. That's
Okay.
the kind of argument you're making.
No,
right?
let me explain
so what
why.
I'm trying to say is
I'm
that
saying
like
Jesus
Moses
denied being that
doesn't
prophet.
mean- like Moses doesn't mean any old
Okay.
thing like Moses.
Let me give you a
It
direct-
refers specifically to the fact that very clear in the context that Moses
Okay.
spoke directly
Okay.
to God for the people.
Let me give you
and
my
then he imparted
argument
that
why.
revelation.
Okay. Firstly, before I move on to the next point, very quickly, because
I've actually got to
no, we'll finish soon.
I've actually got to get
No,
I've
no
got to go.
problem. We'll finish.
I've actually forgotten.
We will finish very soon. If I show you that that prophet is not Jesus, if I show you conclusively, that's the condition. Is the door open for Muhammad then?
No, it could be Paul. Why not Paul?
Because Paul was more. Paul was
Paul spoke
a
directly
less.
to God too.
No. Paul was less of a candidate than Jesus.
No.
I'll show you why.
Well, yeah,
I'll show you
I
why.
agree. Jesus is the candidate.
Thank
Jesus
you.
is the one.
Okay, let's see if
I would easily argue it's
So
Paul
why not
before I
Muhammad?
argue
What's your
it's
problem with Muhammad? Why? What's your problem with Muhammad? What's your issue?
Well, because what he
What if he was truly a prophet of God and foretold in the Bible? What if that is the
I've got
case?
no reason to believe Muhammad was a prophet.
Okay, no problem. You don't have any reasons yet. But if you were shown conclusive reasons, and when we do meet in the future, we will talk about Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42, we'll see whether that fits Muhammad or not. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, I'm asking if Muhammad turns out to be a very viable option for that prophecy, then what? If that's the case, then what?
A viable option.
Yes.
I don't think just because you think that it's possible he could fit the criteria, I don't think that would be.
I'm saying if he is. If he is.
If he fits it.
Yeah.
Well, if he fits it, he fits it, doesn't he? So,
That means he's a true prophet of
yeah,
God.
well, if he,
Okay.
If someone fits that
I'll tell
prophecy,
you
then-
why Jesus is not that prophet.
If it's definitely evidence that is that prophecy talking about him.
Yes.
Right. But I don't think there is.
Okay, no problem. I'll tell you why Jesus is not that prophet. In the Gospel of John, when John the Baptist is baptizing people in the River Jordan, you are aware of it, right? People came and asked him 3 questions. What were those 3 questions?
Are you Elijah? Are you the prophet? Are you the Messiah?
Okay.
One of those.
When they asked him, are you the Elijah? What did he say? No.
He said no, he wasn't Elijah.
Okay.
Not the physical Elijah.
Well, according to the book of Matthew, he was the Elijah. According to
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's because
There's
I
a
think
confusion there now.
Luke,
Okay.
Luke
Yeah.
actually, when the angel Gabriel actually
Yeah.
speaks to Zechariah as John the Baptist's father,
Right.
Gabriel understands that passage to mean someone coming in the spirit and power of Elijah.
Okay.
So he was right to say no to that.
Okay.
But he was still a fulfillment of that
Okay.
prophecy.
Okay. I leave the confusion for you to solve. Okay. Second question: Are you the Christ, the Messiah?
No,
He said no. Who was the Christ?
Jesus, but he didn't say Jesus was the Christ directly right then and there.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. I'm saying who was the Christ to you?
Jesus. Yeah.
Jesus. Are you that prophet? That prophet? And what were they referring to?
Well, probably Deuteronomy 18. Yeah.
Not probably.
Yeah.
Biblical scholars. Biblical scholars are biblical scholars. Okay, good. We're in agreement. That means up to that point when John the Baptist in the 1st century CE is baptizing people in the River Jordan, the prophecy remains unfulfilled. Yes?
No. All that means is that the Jews saw a distinction. The Jews at that time saw a distinction between that prophet and the Messiah.
Yes.
But if we see other passages, I'm pretty sure Peter applies it to Jesus in the book of Acts in his sermon on Pentecost. I have to double check that. But
Just double check it.
yeah, but it does seem to me that
Okay,
just because the Jews thought they were 2 different people doesn't mean it was necessarily so.
Okay,
because the
then
Jews got lots of things wrong about them.
good, no problem. I am asking now, if the Jews are wrong about forming a distinction in these 3 persons, that the Elijah is separate to the Christ and the Christ is separate to that prophet, okay? They can all, they're not, no. I'm leading to a point. If the Jews are wrong in that distinction, forming a distinction between these 3 people, why did Jesus not controvert that? Why did John the Baptist remain? Was John a prophet of God?
Well, probably because, like...
Probably.
No, listen to me. Look.
No,
I
John
used
the
word
Baptist.
probably. No, I wasn't answering your question. I was answering your first question.
Right. No, finishing right now.
Because
Because
bro, nice to meet you, by the way.
you're going to leave after Maghrib? Okay. We're just finishing right now and we're going to leave. I'm going to leave with you guys. Yes.
I'll have to think about that passage you mentioned, by the way. The one in Samuel. You got a lot of homework to do. See it, right?
Okay, so the point is, so if the Jews were wrong in forming that distinction between 3 persons, if they were wrong, as you are claiming they were wrong, John the Baptist, who is a prophet of God, listening to rubbish, listening to errors and mistakes, his job is to correct them, like Jesus corrected the Jews many times.
Yeah, but sometimes Jesus didn't, and John the Baptist perhaps as well, didn't correct people because he knew.
So they left them
stuff.
in error.
He left them in error. Like
I don't agree with that.
very